Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission study session. It's Monday, April 26, 2021. I'd like to welcome all the commissioners back and thank you for your service after what seems like a long break. And we will jump right into study session. Item A1, discuss regular agenda items. That takes us to the regular agenda, which is item C1. Consider approval of the attendance matrix for the Planning and Zoning Commission as presented and take appropriate action. Any questions or comments on the attendance matrix? Seeing none, we'll move on to item C2. Consider approval of the March 8th, 2021 Planning and Zoning Commission minutes and take appropriate action. Any comments, corrections, misspelled names? All right, everyone's good with C2. C3, nomination and election of the Vice Chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission and take appropriate action. With the recent resignation of Vice Chair Jared Williams, Planning and Zoning Commission will need to nominate and elect a current regular appointed commissioner to the role of Vice Chairman. The Vice Chair assists with presiding over the study session and regular meetings of the Commission when the Chairman is absent. The person elected will begin serving in this role at the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Commission and continuing through the end of July 2021. So let's see a show of hands of who's interested in Vice Chair.
Can we just do nominations?
Of course.
Can we just nominate?
Of course.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Zavala.
Commissioner Zavala, all right. Anyone else? Well, we're not going to actually vote on it. We're just kind of vetting out, is anyone interested? I'm hearing that Bertle's interested in Zavala being the vice chair. Are you interested, Gio?
I would be interested if
Awesome.
The committee would agree.
Awesome. And Bonnie is affirming with a nod of the head. I saw some nods on the screen as well. Anyone else interested? All right. Very good. We know what we need to do when the time comes. Thank you to all of you. Item C4, consider the request for a detailed site plan amendment for an office warehouse on approximately 1.52 acre tract located on the east side of Cinlac Drive and approximately 400 feet south of Valley View Lane and take appropriate action. Jennifer Paz is presenting.
I'm available for questions.
All right. Anybody have questions, comments about this case? I do not see any questions. All right, moving on to item C5. Consider the request for a detailed site plan amendment for a college, including but not limited to a new roadway, Alpha Road connector on a 191.94 acre site located at 3939 Valley View Lane and take appropriate action. Sharupa?
I did have a couple of questions on that one.
Pardon me, I just want to interrupt. I need to report that I need to recuse myself as an employee of Dallas College, so I will return after this item.
Thank you.
To the back. So I'm happy to see this actually kind of starting to come to fruition. I guess my question was, I'm assuming that our Public Works group reviewed and approved with the proposed
Yes.
plan.
Yes.
And then my biggest question is what's going to trigger the, I guess there was a drawing that shows an optional median cutout in the future between Alpha and the proposed Alpha Road connector. So what would be the trigger to open that median?
I think it's a recommended option from both the city standpoint as well as the college, but it would really depend on availability of funding to install the median opening.
So when I read the report, it essentially seemed that the city of Addison was primarily going to bear the brunt of the cost here, just
For the roadway
from the
improvement.
roadway. So if and when this were to open in the future, who's going to fund that?
You mean the median
The median.
opening? So that median opening is not, if my understanding is correct, is not part of the ILA or what Edison, City of Edison or Town of Edison is responsible for. They're only responsible for the construction of the roadway, as you mentioned. So if the median opening is decided to be constructed in future, if the project comes within or under budget, that would be one way to fund it. Otherwise, it would be a City of Farmers Branch project, but I think Director Fargus can add to that.
So Sharipa is, or Tina Ferguson's planning director, Sharipa is correct in that the goal would be to have the median opening constructed. It would be a full directional median opening, but there's an interlocal agreement between the town of Addison, the City of Farmers Branch, and then also Dallas College that provides for funding associated with it. So ideally, if the median opening can be accommodated within the funding terms that are provided for in the ILA, then it would happen. And then now any future signalization of that median opening, that would be the city's responsibility.
And that's where I was going to go with my question, just because, you know, I look at this and from a line of sight standpoint, you're coming in a curve. And I felt like if this was going to be an opening, a signalized intersection would probably be most prudent there. And I didn't know if there was any kind of traffic study or to suggest that that was actually warranted, or if, you know, based on known design criteria, is that opening that median without a signal would be acceptable, based on line of sight.
It's our understanding, working with our Public Works Department, there are obviously limited locations where the street could come into play, and obviously with that being a curve, we want that location to be sited correctly from a safety standpoint. So given the proposed location, it's our understanding that our Public Works team has no issue with that. In the future, if the intersection warranted the need for a signal, then again, that would be at the city's responsibility or financial responsibility of that. So our Public Works Department has been involved in the review of this and has not expressed any concerns related to where the road intersects on the curvature of Alpha.
Okay. That was all my questions.
Anyone else have any questions? All right. Thank you. Brian, can you let Amber know that she can come back in? Thank you. All right, so it looks like we covered A2 because it was actually a part of the regular agenda items. So unless there's any more discussion on A2, we'll move on to A3. A3, receive a report regarding zoning and development cases acted upon by the City Council.
So Chairman Moore, I'll be happy to answer any questions that are related to the summary table that was provided in your report. Just a couple of things to note for the commission. So the 3380 Beltline Road, there was some discussion related to the parking requirements associated with the property and the need for the valet, as well as hours of operation. And so the Planning and Zoning Commission actually recommended unanimously of the project as it was submitted. Council in the end did concur with the Commission's recommendation, as well as the applicant's past experience with not having to have the valet operation. Also, their hours of operation were retained at 1 a.m. for Friday and Saturday evening. The following citywide zoning case 20ZA12, which was the amendment related to the banquet hall or the event center. If you recall, the hours of operation limitations were left at 12 a.m. as recommended by the commission, and council concurred. The one exception is, for establishments of this nature that are located within the entertainment overlay district, then they are able to stay open until 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday evenings. The I-35 corridor, the vision study. So I know it's been a while since we've met and discussed this, but council did adopt the vision study that you all worked so diligently on. It was adopted as recommended from the Planning and Zoning Commission, so there were no changes made to that. and we will begin working on implementing the I-35 study. We had our strategic planning session with City Council back in January, and one of their priorities for moving forward in this upcoming budget year was to begin the work on implementing the recommendations from that study. So we will be putting forth requests to be in proposed projects that are in alignment with that study. I know there was quite a bit of discussion with the Planning and Zoning Commission when we were in the public hearing adoption phase related to that as to what the next steps are from an implementation standpoint. So we will be moving forward with that. And then lastly, the last item on the list is the Code of Ordinances amendment related to consumption of alcoholic beverages on city property, public streets, and sidewalks. So this was an amendment to the Code of Ordinances per council's direction to essentially allow for open container consumption of alcoholic beverages within our restaurant park area. And the area is limited to B Street, south of Valley View, and down, which would extend down to Pepperwood. So it's and it's basically between the buildings that line B Street south of Valley View is the area where someone could technically walk around with an open container of an adult beverage, if you will, within that area. So it was limited to that area to begin with, to be able to also assist with the restaurants that will be coming in that area. If you have not been to the restaurant park yet, I would encourage you to pay a visit there. We do have, obviously Cox Farms has been open all this time. We do have Starwood Cafe that's open. It's my understanding Cedar Creek Eatery and Brew Pub are trying to open by the end of this month, so I guess that's this Friday, if all possible. So hopefully they can make it. And then we also have Roots and Red Sticks that will be opening this spring, and I think Roots has a time frame that's a little bit sooner than Red Sticks does. So things are happening there. There's also a dentist office that has recently opened that had their ribbon cutting. So I'd encourage you, if you, like I said, if you haven't been there, to pay a visit. There's some public art installations that have happened in that area as well. There's a dental office. I believe it's called Moderna, if memory serves me correctly, so not to be confused with the vaccine.
Is that, so the dental office opened in that little area there on B?
On B Street. So we can catch you on for the folks at home and on via Zoom. But yes, the dentist office is located in one of the buildings that is on the west side of B Street. It's kind of right in the middle, just south of Cox Farms. But that concludes my summary.
Thank you, Director Fergus. Very excited about the I-35 corridor study since we were the lead group in that, and excited to hear that it was approved as submitted. Anybody have any questions on any of those cases for Director Fergus?
I don't know that you'd know this, but has the tattoo place started building out? They've been okayed as of March.
I can't see Shrupa from here. Shrupa, do you know, have they received their building permit? Thank you.
Apologies. So I believe because it's an existing building, I think I have seen the CO application go through. And Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they have received their CO. So they should be able to occupy the suite.
Good.
Super. All right, and that takes us to A4, discuss agenda items for future planning and zoning commission consideration. I'll open the floor. I'll start. I think we probably need to get back on our list a tour of somewhere, maybe near the end of the year, because half the commission at least has probably not been on one, and that's always a great training time. I know staff does a great job. It takes a lot of time for you guys to plan that, so it seems like if we could start that now, then maybe in the October, November-ish time frame, if that agrees with everyone. And I guess just go back and revisit the topics that we had talked about before. I can't remember what all those were, but I know we have a long list of places that we talked about just touring Farmers Branch to see completed projects. I know we have a long list of various ideas of places we could go to.
Yes, I think we had it divided into two categories, if memory serves me correctly, with respect to that. So, but we can definitely resurrect that list and work on planning something, obviously with, hopefully the pandemic is nearing an end. And but we can definitely work on that for later this year.
Super. Anybody else have any, just so you guys who've not done that with us before, basically, we get in one of the city bus vans is what I'll call it. And we've been to various places, the farmer's market in downtown Dallas, all the way up to Richardson to study the I-75 corridor and how the city of Richardson handled that, which helped us with the I-35 corridor here in our city. We've been to Carrollton to see a lot of the multifamily there on the Carrollton Square and other places that we've been to. And every time we go, staff does a great job of preparing for us. And we're able to spend a day or half a day or whatever just learning how other cities are doing things. And then one of the topics we had talked about was just going around our own city to see a lot of the cases that have been completed or are in progress over the last, several years, because that's great to put eyes on actual land, or some that never even started. That's always interesting and fun too. So Jennifer and staff has a list of those ideas. They'll bring those back to us, and we'll settle on whether that's a Saturday or an after work or, take off work or exactly what that is. But they'll bring that back to us. So, all right. If there's nothing else, I will close the study session at 6:48 p.m. Thank you.